as to what they do. Move selection to surface by local Z. Let's see if I can show you that real quick. Sphere, top view. Alright, let's do a point. Okay, so I might get bit in the butt by this one. So let's select all these and move selection to surface by local Z. You can see they were all on the ground. Now they've been moved to the surface by their local Z axis. So it's shot array from each object up to the surface along the Z axis and then move that object to the surface. Pretty obvious. I mean, comes in real handy when you need to get stuff on a surface, like, say, I don't know, 10,000 feathers on a dragon, which I did have to do at one point. That's where that came from. Attach selection to surface by local Z, same idea. The only difference is, let's do this. Okay, what it did was it shot array along the positive and negative Z-axis, and whichever one was closer to the surface, it then moved it to the surface and attached it to the... Oh, I hit the wrong one. Oh. Okay, so let's select all these, and this time I'll grab the right one. Attach selection to surface by local Z. Same idea. Since they've been moved to it, now it's going to attach them using a point to the surface. Okay? So let's delete these. Say bye-bye. Bind one non-deforming mesh to another. Very simply, it just does a skin wrap. Bind surface to deformer. Again, a skin wrap. So let's say I have this object. All right. Let's do a clone. Let's do 2. Okay, so I'm going to take this object. I'm going to convert them all to editable polys. I'll explain why in a second. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to delete this half of the face. Let's put it in a rectangle. Okay, so let's delete these faces here. Okay, just so I'm clear, I'm going to put this in box mode. Okay, so I'm going to take the other object, and I'm going to do the exact opposite and delete the other faces. And I'm also going to put this into box mode. Alright. So here's these two objects. These two meshes, which are now in box mode, just for clarity's sake. So I'm going to take this sphere and I'm going to bind that surface to multiple deformers. I can bind it to one deformer, or in this case multiple. So double click, select the two objects, and all it did was bind them to these two deformers. Okay, real simple. You'll notice that there's some separation here in how the verts are selected because they're not exactly on, and when I do this with more serious rigs, it works perfectly. I can't get to those. Basically, this comes in real handy when you have a character and you need to do, say, facial morphs for that character, but it's, you don't want to have all of the morphs in the entire body. So what you do is you take your body and you separate the head from the body, and you keep a version that's all connected, so you don't have to do any seams. There's no seam. And what you do is you bind surface to multiple deformers. Okay? I'm going to pause this real quick and open up a scene where I've done that. So here's a scene. You saw this earlier when I did the biped tutorials. And I want to just give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you the render object, which is this. And I'm going to hide the drivers. So now, let's go ahead and hide everything else. So this object, as you can see, there's no seams. This is a quick and dirty object. I'm going to freeze that real quick, and I'm going to bring back the drivers. Now you can see these two drivers are actually driving the other surface. So I'm going to unlock this, and I'm going to move it, and you'll see what's happening. See? These two objects are driving that surface like so. So you can see that there's a seam here, obviously, because they're two different colors. And if you rendered it, let me make them both the same color, like that. See, now these are both the same color, believe it or not, but you can see a seam. If I go ahead and close that, hide that, and unhide the actual render, you'll see there's no seam here, right, where the two are connected. It's just skin wrapped to all of these meshes. Okay? So that's how that works. I'll show you this other tool I have here. Okay. This comes in handy sometimes a lot. So let's say I've got all these points. But I have this point right here, and it's an axis tripod, and it's a box. Okay? But I don't want it to have constant screen size. Okay? Sorry. You'll see if I zoom in and out that these are all constant screen size. So they always stay the same size. But I want them all to look like that. So I select these, and I go copy properties from master to selection. Double click. I rubber band to the one that I want them to look like, and now they're all like that. Works with all different types of objects. I typically use it for points and stuff, but you can do it for anything. And that's pretty much it for the rigging. Everything is pretty much labeled pretty self-explanatory, which is why some of these names are so long. Sorry. My next thing is I could actually make icons for all this stuff. But that's rigging. In the next one, I'll take you through the skin work. That's going to be a big tutorial. So see you then.